As though sitting in a chair, lift both feet. You could connect your hands with your kneecaps. And pairing your breath with the movement again, we'll begin to warm up our core muscles. First, lowering the left heel, releasing it from the knee before returning it on a lift. And then the right heel. Kind of marching in place. Work towards keeping your back connected with the floor, maintaining a neutral pelvis and supported spine. If you're ready for a little more warmth, you could pick up the pace here. But remember to notice your breath and move with control. Maybe do this 10 times. You could continue longer. Or when you're ready, if you'd like, another option would be to, instead of tapping your heel, kicking your footprint out, sending your leg at a 45-ish degree angle or any angle of your choice. The lower you go to the mat, the more challenge. Still alternating sides, still letting your hands help connect one bent knee as you extend the other leg with strength. Still connecting your spine with the mat. Still notice your breath. You could squeeze your quads on the extension of each leg. And squeeze your hamstring as you bring your heel towards your hip on the bend. Draw your belly button towards your spine as your spine draws towards the mat. You could continue this way. Or if you'd like a little more, you might clasp your fingers behind your head and bring opposite elbow to bent knee. Notice the exhale as you sniff air out on the contraction of each side. Maybe letting the inhale take care of itself in between. So emphasizing the sniff out as you pump each foot forward. Maybe 10 more. Lifting shoulder blades off the mat. And coming to rest as you're ready, you can plant both feet, rest your hands along your sides. Or you might choose to rest your hands and notice your belly breath again on your belly and chest. Breathing in from the bottom up. Breathing out. Settling towards the floor. From here, I invite you to extend your feet long on your mat. You might have to inchworm up or down to make space for yourself, adjust as needed. You could reach your arms overhead, bending at the elbows if space is limited, framing your head, taking opposite elbow and opposite hand. Still noticing the back of your body, all the points that connect with the ground, supported against gravity. Notice your heels, your calves, your hamstrings, your hips. As you breathe in, notice the backs of your ribs, your shoulder blades, and the back of your head, and your arms resting on the ground. When you're ready, you might choose to walk your hands and feet off the side of the mat to the same side. It doesn't matter which side, just making kind of a banana or a boomerang shape with your body, leaving your spine exactly where it is and creating a side bend in the waistline. I invite you to bring your attention to your belly breath. Maybe take 3 nourishing breaths here. When you're ready, you know where we're going. You can walk your hands and feet to opposite side. If you're set up like I am against a wall, you might sit up and pivot around and switch sides that way. Making your practice make sense for your space. Take those 3 nourishing breaths on the other side. Return to center as you're ready. From here, I invite you to roll over onto your belly. You could rest your forehead on stacked palms, noticing the feedback of the ground against your belly as you breathe in, pressing into the earth, and letting your ribs rise after that, filling up. And exhale, growing heavy towards the mat. You could stay here or choose to use your hands to press your chest and hips up and back, sending your hips towards your heels. Your knees might be wide. As you settle into child's pose, maybe resting forehead on stacked palms again, or reaching your handprints forward like a puppy that wants to play, gripping the mat, noticing the texture there. Breathe in, fill your lap up with your breath, making space for your belly. Pressing your thighs apart with your ribs. And exhale, letting your hips grow heavy towards your heels. Stay here as long as you'd like, or you could shift forward, find tabletop. That's hands and knees. Tuck your toes when you're ready. Maybe your knees hover as you send your hips towards the sky. Press your handprints, your whole handprints into the mat, maybe making space between them to support your shoulders. Inhale, you might lift your heels. Exhale, reach those heels towards the mat. Maybe flex your toes. Downward facing dog. Draw your belly in towards your spine. Notice the expansion of your rib cage. See if you can make space between your shoulders and your ears. And as you're ready, walk your feet slowly to meet your hands. They might take turns. You can pause in a forward fold, bending your knees, supporting the weight of your upper body on your lap. Let your head hang. You could nod yes. You could shake it no. Ground into both footprints to lift. Inhale, roll up slowly, slowly, slowly. Coming to stand, finding your strong, firm mountain pose. Imagine standing on railroad tracks, toes pointing forward. Take a soft bend in your knees, maybe find a neutral pelvis. Exploring the tilt forward and backward and side to side. And finding neutral. With a strong foundation, you might reach your hands towards the floor. Your thumbs could point outward. Squeeze your shoulder blades together behind you. Let your collarbone smile as you breathe in from nose to toes. Grow tall and exhale. Grow heavy. Nice. We'll begin sun salutations if you'd like a little more movement. Find maybe the back of your mat. Inhale, your arms can reach up overhead. Palms might connect and lower as you hinge at the hips, diving forward, reaching towards the floor for a fold. Bend your knees as much as you'd like. Inhale, half lift, work towards a flat back. Exhale, find a fold again. Walk your hands away from your feet, find downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heels. Exhale, lower your heels. Nice. Adding on, you can shift forward, finding a plank pose, adjusting as needed. You might choose to lower your knees and keep your elbows in close as you lower to your belly. From here, inhale, lift your chest as though to peel up like a baby cobra. Squeeze your elbows and shoulder blades together behind you. Press the tops of your feet into the mat. Exhale as you lower. Press yourself up and back from child's pose if you choose. You could stay here. Return here whenever you'd like. Or as you're ready, shift forward, find low plank, lift your knees, and send your hips towards the sky. Press your whole handprints into the mat as you walk your feet and hands to meet in forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, press into both feet and roll up to standing. Pause in mountain pose. We'll add on from here. Inhale, hands might lift up over your head. Exhale, lower the hips as sit in a chair, hands forward to counterbalance. You could heel toe feet apart for added stability in chair pose. Breathe in. As you exhale, you might fold, reach towards the floor, send your hips towards the sky. Lengthen the backs of your legs. It's okay if they don't become straight. Nod your head yes, or choose to shake it no. Inhale as you half lift, work towards a flat back. Exhale, lead with your heart, lower as you fold. Walk your hands and feet apart as you lift your hips for downward facing dog. You might stay here and breathe, or choose to shift forward for plank, making a long line with your body, bringing shoulders over wrists. You might choose to lower your knees. Keep your elbows close to your ribs as you lower to your belly. Keep moving, untuck the toes. Inhale, curl up for cobra. Exhale, peel down. Nice vinyasa. From here, you can tuck your toes, send your hips back for child's pose. Stay here or move through tabletop, tucking the toes, lifting the hips for downward facing dog. You might choose to lift your right foot, reaching it towards the sky, toes still flexed towards the shin, three-legged dog. Bring your knee towards your nose and step between your hands. Pause in a low lunge. You might step your back foot forward, bringing your toes out maybe 45 degrees. You might make space between your feet as though to stand on railroad tracks instead of a balance beam. Press into both feet to rise. Inhale, you might reach up for strong warrior one. Drive your back heel into the mat, pressing into the outer pinky edge of that foot, driving your hips to face forward. As you reach up, fill up from belly to ribs to throat. Exhale, bring your hands to the mat. You might find your low lunge again and send your front foot up and back for three-legged dog. Like lowering through mud, bring your foot to meet the other on the mat. You could stay in downward facing dog and breathe, or take a vinyasa, moving forward to shift for plank, maybe lowering the knees. From here, perhaps keeping elbows close as you lower your chest towards the floor. Untuck the toes and rest, or peel up on an inhale, bringing sternum away from the mat. For baby cobra, squeezing shoulders together behind you. Heel down. Choose to rest, or send your hips back for child's pose. Again, you might choose to rest here. Deciding when you're ready, you can extend your hands forward, lifting your hips, find tabletop, tuck your toes, lift your hips more, find downward facing dog, pressing into your whole handprints, as though to slide a piece of paper underneath your wrist from the back, from the heel of your hand. When you're ready, you might lift your opposite foot. For me, that's the left, sending your footprint to the sky for three-legged dog, still flexing toes towards your shin, towards the floor. Crunch your knee towards your nose, step forward, pause in a low lunge. Bring your back foot in and send your toes out towards the side, maybe 45 degrees. With a firm foundation and a deep inhale, peel your hands up, paintbrush them to the sky, find warrior one on the other side. Breathe from toes to nose, fill up, root to rise, maybe equalize your weight between your feet. Exhale, lower your hands to the mat. Step back if you need as you lift your front foot to the sky once more, three-legged dog. And then let it find the floor beside its mate. You could stay here or choose a vinyasa, find plank. Maybe lowering through chaturanga or crocodile. Healing up for cobra. Inhale, press your belly into the floor. Exhale, lower. Maybe find child's pose, taking knees wide. Maybe resting the forehead on stacked hands.